A Light Within Darkness Chapter 88, Fan Fiction by Azazyel. It said a lot about how reckless I was that I willingly walked into the parlor of a demon to allow it to work its mind-bending magics and skills upon me, with its intent to break me down into whatever form it desired. But honestly, compared to drinking a shot of Nurgle juice straight from the fucking tap, letting a lesser Slaanesh demon play with me for a bit out of curiosity was no big deal in comparison. Lady Atraxia is willing to meet you now if you are ready. The deamonette spoke softly, and I nodded, and the black-haired demure woman smiled with a too-wide smile as she lowered her head and opened the door leading to the first lady of this pagoda. The entry into the parlor was covered in fine silks colored a delicate pink and woven with beautiful and perfect tapestries of art into the silk. And as I entered, a gentle and matronly voice spoke out. With the voice tickling my ears, using her demonic essence in a way that attempted to nudge my soul into relaxation. "Why hello, dearie. Please come on in," she whispered, and as I came in, I saw the demon that took on the form of my own desires. She wasn't world-shatteringly beautiful, she had short blonde hair with a hint of brown in it that went just down to her shoulders, with her eyes closed and wearing a modest sweater that covered up her very ample assets. She raised her arms out to me and spoke in that same beguiling voice. Come now, Jake, traveler of the warp. Allow indulgence to take heed and relax for but a moment." While I raised an eyebrow at her blunt of introduction, she giggled and covered her mouth delicately as she continued to keep her eyes closed. "I was just kidding, dearie. Now come, I know you haven't eaten since you entered the warp. And do not worry, for I swear on my true name, the food is not cursed nor tainted by anything you, as a human, would disagree with." She spoke as her hands fumbled outwards, attempting to take my own into her hands. Is she really playing the blind card to get my sympathies? I thought amusement, but with her being naught but a demonette, I allowed her to take my hands, and she carefully pulled herself to her feet with a wide smile. "Thank you, dearie. I can feel your amusement and distrust, but I am truly, actually blind, you know, Lord Slaanesh once and forever Slains, seeing the harsh beauty of the humans. Astronomicon once desired to have the blinding light for themselves and they attempted to have their demons record the light within their eyes. I was one of the few to survive, only blinded with my essence burned away, and the light of your god emperor being the last thing I ever saw. Hee hee." She spoke as she, with my hand intertwined with her own, pulled me into a side room, and I saw a small kitchen of all things with a refrigerator and a simple gas oven. "I love human food, you know. All Slaanesh demons seek perfection in whatever methods we can," she whispered, and then she smiled as her thumb rubbed my hand affectionately as she continued. "Now come, dearie, you be my eyes. Come on here." She spoke as she took out some eggs, what looked like sliced ham, and some other ingredients from the cold box while turning on the oven, and the domestic scene was only ruined by the flame being a scary dark purple. "Wrap your arms around me and tell me what is happening as I cook the food," she said with an indulgent smile, and I realized her game as she wanted to basically cosplay as a husband holding his wife around her waist while she cooked. With the same smile of knowing her game, I accepted her request, and as I wrapped my arms around her, I realized that her form. There was no illusion, there was no horns, no scales pushing against my hands. Her body was soft, it was warm, and beyond the clear demonic soul. If I didn't know better, I would have thought she was just a normal human as she giggled and pushed her plump assets against my waist and got comfy as she began cooking. "So, how has your trip through the warp been?" she asked softly, and I realized that as she was melting some tallow on the pan to get it ready for the ham to be cooked before the eggs, that with each breath I took, she matched with her own breath, in a dance that kept our bodies pressed together and rubbing against one another. Even her hair was a gentle attack on my senses as the lavender honeysuckle scent attempted to lull my mind in relaxation. But I answered with a clear head with my voice obviously tickling her ears as her backside tingled against me with my words. "Oh. It went well, I suppose. I killed some corn demons, I got some treasures, and even found what I think to be a relic from the old ones that can control spiritual entities like yourself. Maybe I should steal you away to be a chef in my palace." I teased with my young flames, going on the offensive and tickling her soul. My words for but a moment made her stiffen, but then she relaxed, and her form melted against me as she spoke with a husky voice. "Oh my. On our first meeting, you are already planning to already steal me away. But you are so warm. Maybe I could be convinced. She spoke coyly. We teased and prodded at one another as she prepared the food, and after a couple minutes, she would gently question the state of the food, and when she got the answer, she would hum with her body slightly swaying to an unheard song as she would flip over the food, and we would go back to teasing one another. But after a couple of cycles of this process, the food was obviously cooked, and she said sweetly, "Now let us dish up the food, and you can fill your belly after being tempted in the last realm." And that was it. There was no taint, there was no trap. She made me a meal, she made good conversation, and once we finished, the honesty. Fucking delightful meal that was better than anything I had ever had in either of my lives. She sighed and kissed me on the cheek. "Now, Jake, can I convince you to stay but a little while longer, my dear? I would like to hear more of when you traveled over the blood god's realm. I haven't left this circle of seduction in so many years." She whispered, and as I raised an eyebrow, she giggled and pushed forward into giving me a soft hug with her large, full breasts pushing into my chest as she tiptoed, and I could feel her tongue lash my ear as she whispered, "My name is Atraxia Sarath Zegman Guzganach. Call upon me, great champion, I will come to you then if I cannot keep you." She spoke into my ear, and I blinked and utterly froze in place, feeling the chain forming around her soul with her giving me her fucking true name. She gently kissed the nape of my neck and then stepped back, and the room went darker as she said softly and with no little amount of regret, "It seems your willpower is too great for me, Jake. I am to be consigned to the flesh pit for 300,000 years now for failing to tempt you into my bosom. I wish you the best of luck on the next lady in your trial, it will be lonely in the pits without a friend," she said, and before I could react, a tendril of purple flesh broke through the floor. And with a harsh cracking noise, her form was yanked through the shattered floor with her screaming as the floor tore at her flesh, and as I reflexively stepped forward to stop whatever happened, the floor healed back to normal, and a voice rang out behind me. "Dear guest. I suppose Atraxia wasn't that great of a host. Pity that." I slowly turned and saw the greeter wearing a small smile as she faced me, and as I looked at her, she tittered and said, "Oh, were you already getting attached? I could retrieve her, and if you want to settle down with her. That's more than fine, in fact." There was a pause. But as her purple eyes met my own and without a change in my cold expression, I grabbed her by the full head of hair and smashed her head into the ground so hard I could feel the pagoda itself shake. "You aren't a true demon. You are the spirit of this pagoda itself. You are actually keeping these demons as pets and toys, like greater Nurgle demons have countless Nurglings crawling in their guts." I spoke coldly as I let go of her hand without a single sign of pain or unhappiness at my actions. The spirit of the pagoda rolled back to her feet and chuckled happily. "Oh yes indeed, dear guest. Although that was a little mean, I will overlook it this time. No, would you like to meet the next host who will attack your heartstrings?" she asked with a demented grin.